Bethel Clouds TV, empowering lives.
As I want to reinstate again, on 5th we have the elders that we give food, the 70 years and above. And make sure those who come with these elders do not come with an elder who is less than 70 years. Don't come, because you go home disappointed. Do you hear? And if any of our staff here allows that elder who is 69 years, even if he's 69.99, don't allow them in. We only need 70 and above, because that is what God told me. 70 and what? And above. If you come because he's your uncle or because he's your friend, 69 and 9 months or 69 and 11 months, you are misguided. We are not going to allow you and him. You're not going to be allowed here, and we will suspend you. And they must be here by 10. Latest 10. Number 2, we are having our moral crusade on 5th, 26th, and the 27th. It is a major transformational crusade that is going to launch. It's a launching pad of what God has given us. You know, I come from that area. I told you sometimes back when I came, is my father asked a lorry driver, a petroleum lorry driver, to give me a lift to Nairobi. That's how I came to Nairobi. I came via a petroleum lorry driver. He gave me a lift up until Kasarani Mweki. That is where I was dropped. That's why I had a relative that was living in Kasarani Mweki. So those are many years down the line. But nowadays I go home driving my car. Praise be the name of God. I go home driving my car. And that day, I'll go home on a chopper. Nasiringi. If Ruto can fly a chopper, and he's just a president representing Kenya, and I am an ambassador representing heaven, I'm supposed to be going with the 3. If I can be able to put my leg on one, another one, na kichwa kwa chopper ingine, I go with the 3. That is what men and women of God are supposed to be. We are not inferior. We are not poor. We are not supposed to be down. They are supposed to be down. And that is what we must liberate our people. Christianity must be changed. Those kind of Christians, the poor Christians, do not bring them here. Those, Bishop, you know, you are told that vitu za hapa duniani, things of this world are not good. At now wait until you go to heaven. That's where you're going to encounter to drive a nice car. No, drive a nice car here. Yes. Drive a nice car here. Own a nice house here. Have everything good here. Kule tutaenda tukakuta za huko ni different. Those things there, they are different. So enjoy the ones that you are enjoying here. Because God will ask you a question. What did you do with what I gave you? What did you do with the life I gave you? But how are you going to explain na poverty? You are poor, very poor, because you are told there's something in heaven and somebody is enjoying his life. We must stop that. Hallelujah. Therefore, I'm happy to have you again, and I love you. Kenyans, I love you. Christians. No, you are still in the class 8 and the class 7 here as a man. I love you. You know, these guys, they think saying I love you, you are becoming sexual or something funny. Love is from God. And God is love. So anything that we have is from God. So whatever called love is from God. Your ingine is not love, is lust. L-U-S-T. Lust. Sindio? Good. Let us open our Bible in the book of Hosea. And also on Thursday, we'll be having for the Kikuyu people. If you don't hear Kikuyu, don't come on Thursday morning. Don't come. Tuanze kuinterpret hapa. We are having an inaugural program that will be running on Thursdays. And that is, we'll be speaking Kikuyu because I'm Kikuyu. No, don't just kusema ati kwa sababu ni I was born Kikuyu. That is, I was born Kikuyu. What's the problem? What's the problem? If you are born Aluo, what's the problem? If you are born Aluya, is there a problem? So if I speak my language, is there a problem? Have I sinned? So don't come on Thursday if you don't hear that language. Because we don't want to waste our time interpreting. Come on Wednesday. This woman is looking at me as though I've committed sin. I've not committed sin. I'm just expressing my desire. No, I'm just open. I'm just open. I'm saying, so on Thursday, for those who want to be in that program, by saa 4 sharp, you'll be seated. Saa 4, we will be teaching on all those things that you've been seeing in Saimokei, Kambori, all those things that you saw me preaching there, or teaching, the kind of teaching that you want, the kind in my language, because Inoro has requested me, and because Inoro is a Kikuyu, is a vernacular station, and they have given me an opportunity. Why can't I grab it? After all, mulikuwa mnanisikia kwa Saimokei, kwani mlinisikia kwa nani? So on Thursday by 10 in the morning, we are going to launch, and I've given it a name, the Girawa Adora. That is where you come ask any question pertaining your family, the family foundation, curses, generational curses, bloodline, all those kind of things that have been affecting you. You come, we interact together. I will explain to you from the biblical angle, from the spiritual angle, from the Gekoyo angle, from the African angle, and then we'll be moving forward. Isn't that good? Thank you. So unipigie makofi because nimeongea kisu. So the program will be starting from 10 a.m. up until 1 p.m. And on Wednesday, of course, you know we have deliverance, as it was explained, and we'll be having lunch hour services. It is compulsory. If you're in Nairobi town, make sure you come for lunch hour services. If you're within the CBD or anywhere near, we'll be doing lunch, and we need to support this ministry. Or, you're a young church, we need to support this to grow. Let us support this church to grow. When I came from the other side, for those who doesn't know, we only migrated with 10 people. 10, Waboy, Mase, you, those 3, and Karo, Galikubwa, Alice. I can count you. There are people we migrated together from the other side because we had a congregation of about 25 people. But you can see what God is doing. We had the faith. We took up a bigger space with only 25 people. And we told God, we are going to do it. Whether you like it or not, we are going to expand. Sometimes you tell God, by fire, by force, I'm going to expand. Because I know you are the owner of silver and gold. I must enjoy the fruits of heaven. You don't just sit and get the kingdom of heaven since the days of who? John the Baptist. It's taken by what? It's taken by force. It's only Christians who doesn't know how to take these things by force. Yes. You don't sit down and still when the people cannot have more space. That is when you're just thinking, I need another. No, create a space so that God can come in. If you don't create the space, God will not come in. Bishop, you remember the days I opened there? We were just few people, and even everybody was wondering, would this thing grow? But see now where we are. Walisema hatutaenda mbali. Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Thank you very much. Only 2 months and we are growing. What if we get another 3 months? We'll be looking for another space. Start looking, elders, start looking for a bigger space. I am here for only 1 year. This building. This is a banking hall. We have our circle called Besima. This is a banking. This is not enough for Christians like us. People with faith. People who will go beyond and conquer mountains. Hallelujah. Bwana Yesu asifiwe sana. And that is very important. Therefore, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for coming. I'm happy for those who have given their testimonies. I'm happy for those who are supporting us, people here locally and internationally, people from America. I'm happy for you. The UK people, German people, the Belgium people, the Gulf guys, the Dubai and Australia. There's one gentleman I really love. He's in Australia. We prayed together, and he told me, God has done a miracle. And I was expecting that now I have a car. Now I have a piece of land. I have this. He's called Ndongo. He's my good friend. He told me the first miracle ever to have happened in my life, I was able to get into a bookshop and I was able to buy a Bible. He was happy for being able to buy a Bible. It was a major breakthrough. And he told me, ninajua maisha yangu imefunguka. So for you, I know it's not a miracle, buying a Bible. My first Bible was given to me by Bishop Harrison Nganga. And I gave it to another lady called Penina because I didn't have value for the Bible. I asked myself, what is it for? How will it help me? Because those days, I used to destroy Bible. I used to call Jesus a corny man. I used to call Jesus all manner of names. I never valued Jesus. But when Jesus came into my life and he transformed me, the first thing that was given to me by Harrison was a Bible, which again I donated. It is written, donated and given by Bishop Harrison Nganga. Little did I know. Had I kept, namkumbuka huyo msichana? Yule alikuwa mrefu kwangu, alikuwa mlatina akaanza kupiga makelele. Thank you, Don, for again coming. God bless you. And the praise and worship team, God bless you once again. And everybody, elders, thank you for supporting me and supporting this vision. I know it is not in vain. God will support your cause. Whoever that is here, seated here, you are here because God has commanded you to be here, because he wants to bless you. You've been so idle, so much idle, not knowing that God is waiting for you until God pushed you to come and be blessed. This is where we must push for our blessing. We must go for them. We must not sit down and we must go for the blessing. This blessing belongs to us. If you read the book of Genesis, chapter number 1, verse 26 and 27 and 28, man was given dominion. Not dominion to sleep, dominion to take over. He was given the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, and the animals of the land. They were given to him. And even the plants were given to mankind. So you got the dominion, and he was told, subdue the earth. So the earth must be subdued. You don't wait for the earth to come and give you, oh, my brother, you know you came from me, so I'm going to. No. You subdue. You unakanyaga. You subdue the earth for you to make it. This earth is not good with you. It doesn't like you. The earth doesn't like you. That is why it always wants to swallow you. And when it swallows you, every person will be crying. Have you ever seen somebody akirushiwa? How do that is when you start and they drop. Because the earth want to swallow you. Before the earth swallows you, make use of it. Bwana Yesu asifiwe sana. Make what? Own a nice car, the best car. Own the best houses. Own the best thing on earth. Yeah? Conquer the world. Win every battle. Be successful. Go far and far and far. Yes. Fly to Dubai. Enda komboa nyumba mzuri. Ukae huko kule mali yako vizuri. Yes. Acha kukulanda hapa the farthest you can go ni Rivaroli kukula gedhali chafua. Yeah. No, you must change. You must change. Yeah, you must eat well. You must live well. Go to UK. Just get a ticket ukipata visa. And at the best hotel. Hata kama watakufukuza, they won't jail you. You eat. Just eat. They won't jail you. They will tell you to go and work and then set you free. But you say, I ate in a hotel in UK. It doesn't matter how they are going to deport you, but you ate. Are we in the book of Hosea? Today I'm looking at the negative family foundations. And how do they come into your life? And this is what I just want to bring you out of them so that you may be moving in a manner that you're going to. Chapter number 9, we'll be taking our reading from verse number 9. Chapter number 9, from verse number 9. They have deeply corrupted themselves, as in the days of Gibeah. He will remember their iniquity he will punish their sins. He will remember their iniquities. They have deeply corrupted themselves. Families have deeply corrupted themselves. We are living in a corrupt world. We have corrupted our morals. We have corrupted our standards. What God set in for us, nobody is in it. The standards. We were told not to do this. We were told not to go this. We are told not to do or be here or there. But we have refused. We are in our own world. I was listening to this gentleman here, and he said he saw a photo, a nice, beautiful girl. And that is what attracted him. And I speak to my sister there. She went all the way to Tanzania to buy a gene so that she can pull men to herself. Men who are married, not men who are not married. We have corrupted ourselves. Tumejiingiza kwenye anasa. Tumejiingiza kwenye mitego ya kishetani. We are no longer walking according to the plans and the will of God. We are immoral. We don't stand upright because we don't value the values of God. We want to do our own things, and we want to walk in our own standards and positions. We have created our own mountains. We have created our own gods. We have created our own standards that does not tally with the standards of God. And that's why the Bible is saying that they have corrupted themselves deeply. Praise be the name of God. And therefore, and in the days of, like as in days of Gibeah, and they will remember their iniquities. So some of these family foundations we have, they are a result of the iniquities of not us, but the iniquities of the foundations of our family. Our fathers, our mothers, our grandfather, our grandmothers. Gakinyeria waganu, ginyarushia roa. Yeah? That the suffering, that the cause, the challenges or the problems that we are suffering now, it is not because we were involved. It is because my great-grandfather did it. And now it has been brought up towards me. I am suffering because my grandfather was a prostitute. I'm suffering because my grandfather was a witch. I'm suffering because my grandfather was somebody who was not in the will of God. The challenges we are facing, they are challenges because the children of Israel went into the slaveliness of 400 years, not because they deserved it, but because they were operating in a curse by the man called Terah. And Abraham was told, your generation will suffer in the hands of their tormentors for 400 years. Not because they committed any crime. In fact, it is all their own brother Joseph who invited them into the slaveliness. They had come for food. And their brother decided, let my king live with me here. And he chose a place for them. And they stayed there without knowing it was the beginning of their suffering. Not because they did anything. Not because they were witches. But because their grandfather was a worshipper of idols. Their foundation controls what's happening. The foundation that you've come from will control what you become. The foundation of your family, the foundation of your clan, the foundation of where you originated from. If you came from Shamahoho, there are demons of Shamahoho, and this demon will follow you right into Nairobi. And that's why in the book of Deuteronomy chapter number 28, the Bible says, if you hear the voice of God and follow all the instruction diligently, then the following blessings will follow you. So our fathers did not do that. And what you are doing now will come to affect the fourth and the fifth generation from now. The way you behave, how you've been misusing or doing things irrespective of God's plan, is kuja tu kukugoga. Na itagonga generation, na watoto wa watoto wako, they will suffer because of what you are doing now. So be careful with what you are doing with your life right now. Be careful on how you are handling yourself. If you are a con man, at some point, your children and your children will face the same challenge. If you're a witch, you're going to be going to witch doctors. And that's why deliverance is a must. Deliverance is an important tool in your life. That lineage can be cut out from you. Our fathers did it, but we are facing the challenge. We were looking on the other time on the genealogy of Jesus Christ. And we found Jacob blessed his sons. And he told the sons, come, I tell you what will happen to you in the days to come. And he cursed some and blessed some. Judah was one who was blessed. And Judah began the journey of Jesus Christ. But unfortunately, what happened to him, Judah, that it was prophesied that he would produce kings. If you look at the genealogy of Judah, it takes 10 generations before we find a king. Not because this generation deserved to suffer, but because of a spiritual mistake that Judah did. He got married, gave 2 children, gave birth to 2 children. And these 2 children got married to one wife. The first one died, and the second one died. Only for the same wife, the same woman, to sleep with Judah himself. That is why he gets Tamar and Perez, who begot the rest of the generation. So it affected for 10 generations. Let me read it for you before I get back to look at the book of Matthew, the genealogy of Jesus Christ. You see how it affects the genealogy. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, chapter number 1. The book of genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac begot Jacob. Jacob begot Judah. Remember, it is Judah that Jacob prophesied to, that your brothers will bow down to you. That means he was to produce kings. Judah was a material to produce kings. Some of you are materials to be kings. Some of you are materials to be rich. Some of you are materials to be men and women of God. Some of you are materials of greatness. But your greatness is not seen. Your greatness is nowhere to be seen. Now, Judah, as it was prophesied, Judah begot Perez and Zerah. Perez and Zerah are products of this same lady that was a wife to his first son and a wife to his second son. This woman had been sent into this family to destroy the family. This woman was a destiny killer. She slept with the first son. The first son died. The second son, same thing, because of her. She died. The second son died. And she propelled and projected her way until she went to bed with the man himself, the man carrying the seed. They will come and make sure they come to a church like this one and make sure they kill the product that you are following. They re-engineer, they plan. They come into the praise and worship team. They come into the elders team. They come into the women, the intercessory, and make sure they kill it from inside. That's why I'm always telling you, be careful with whoever that comes into your life. Could it be your wife or your husband? Could it be your business partner? Could it be a ministry like this one, a partner, an associate pastor, an usher, a praise and worship team? Be careful with them. Because when they enter into you, you don't know what kind of a missile they're going to put inside you. You don't know what kind of arrangement they're going to put inside you. You find yourself dying. And this will follow you because it is in the blood of the family. If you look at Jacob, it was in the blood, in the blood from Isaac to Jacob. And you see what happened to Isaac, what happened to Jacob, what happened to these two, Judah. It is almost the same thing. So what you plant, you come to harvest. You may not harvest now. You may not harvest next generation, but at that generation it will manifest. That is why it's so important for you. Before you get into a move of going to prayers, going to church after church, moving to what place after what place, just before that, seek to know what could be in you. What could be happening in your life. Because what is happening, it is guided right from very far. When Jacob prophesied, he never knew that he swindled. He was a con man. He's one that he did whatever he did was wrong. Praise be the name of God. But much later, what ikakuja ikafanyika, after many years, he gave birth to Perez and Zerah. Zerah and Perez are children of the same woman who slept with two brothers. Now she has come, she slept with who? With the father, and produced two children. That is the plan they manifest, they plan. Those are the arrangements. Mipango ya kumaliza familia. Mipango ya kumaliza what God has put in you. It does not start yesterday. It never started yesterday. What is manifesting now in you, it could be in you for 200 years. It could be in you in 50 years. It could have been operating. It has just been shifting from one angle to another, from one person to another, from one place to another. But remember, it was founded somewhere long time ago. It has grown. So the problem just dash to any pastor. Na useme niekelea mkono pastor. Wewe niwe waka hidagaka. Wekelea tu mikono. Hapana. Seek to understand. Dig out the history. Dig out the family tree. Dig out the blood of your family. Dig out the people, the clan, the area you've come, the land you come from, the places umetoka. You have come here, unaenda kutafuta kazi America. There are so many people, Kenyans, who are there, but they are very poor. Yet they are in the land where money is being made by many people. There are people here in Kenya, they live in Kakuma, Uko, kwa Turkana, very remote areas, but they are millionaires. What could be the issue? That somebody is moving out of Kenya to go to America, to go to UK, to go to Belgium, to go to Germany, to go earn money, but they are poor. They cannot be able to come twice to Kenya because they cannot afford it. But there is somebody living in Kakuma, Turkana area, where far Pokot, where there is poverty, but they roam around the world. You hear is in German. Next month I will be in UK. The other month I will be in America. Moving easily, with ease. And they have never gone to work in the US. There is a history behind it. There is a history for your success. And for your failures, there is a history. Once you understand the history of your failures, and the history of your successes, and the history, the background where you've come from, it forms the formation that will make you succeed. You can never succeed from a background where poverty was thriving. You must do something to destroy the altars of poverty right from your great-grandfathers. Because now look here. These people, they had iniquity. Watu walitenda dhambi. Like grapes of the wilderness, I found Israel like the first fruit on the fig tree on its season. I saw your fathers, but they came to Baal Peor and consecrated themselves to the things of shame, and because of detestable, like the things they loved. It is the iniquities of their parents, their fathers, that reminded God that this generation need to be punished. God remembered. Alikumbuka mambo ambayo yalikuwa yametendeka na mababa zao. It is not them. But akakumbuka the iniquities. Just like the days of Zerah. Zerah is a product of prostitution. And this other girl, the Perez and Zerah. Now if you go to verse 3 of Matthew, Judah begot Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Perez begot Hezron, and Hezron begot Ram. Ram begot Abinadab. Abinadab begot Nahashon. Nahashon begot Salmon. Salmon begot Boaz by Rahab. Boaz begot Obedi, and Obedi begot Jesse. And Jesse begot David. Those are 10 generations. 10 good generations. They have gone to waste. Why? Because of a spiritual sin that was committed by Judah and the two children. So it may not attack you now. And even after David came into life, even after Jesse was able to give birth to David, David was followed by challenges of life. David was after one challenge after another challenge. They tried to kill him. They disowned him. They moved forward. Again, he met Goliath. He kills Goliath. Again, he faced challenges of Saul. From there, he goes, prostitution was all over around him. He did manners and manners of things that were not good in God until his child again was punished because of his sins. Those are the family foundations. How is your family founded? What is the foundation of your family? What is the foundation that controls, that manipulates? Ni misingi gani iko ndani ya familia yako? Shosho yako alikuwa nani? How was your grandfather? Was he a witch? Alikuwa muganga? Alikuwa wa maumau? Me, I became mungiki because of my grandfather, not because of me. I was with another guy, I don't know why they are not here. Let me not speak about because they are not there. But I became mungiki not because I deserved to become a mungiki. I became mungiki because my grandfather founded Maumau. My great-grandfather, General Waruinge, is the one who founded Maumau with the Kimathi, with the Mathenge, with the Ethiopia. All these were 7 Maumau generals. Walikuwa viongozi wa Maumau. Na ndio walianzisha Maumau. My grandfather, General Waruinge, is the one who initiated the first plan of Maumau after coming from Burma, where they had been taken to go and fight the Italians. When they came here, they thought of fighting this Muzungu to go out of the country. Maana walidiscover na wakajua ya kwamba kumbe Muzungu anakufanga. Na my grandfather coined the oath of Maumau. Wenye wataapishwa. When many years down the line, I formed Mungiki. Remember this Kimathi and this Mathenge, they were first cousins. There were 7 Maumau generals and all of them, they were first cousins. Then many years down the line, I formed Mungiki alongside Mainanjenga, alongside Waithaka, alongside Joroge. We are 7 and we were first cousins. Bwana asifiwe sana. And Mungiki, as my grandfather coined the words of the oath that was given to the Mau, I am the one who coined the oath, the words of the oath that were given to Mungiki members. And we became just like Mau were, we became. So when I was speaking to my bishop, Harrison Nganga, then we discovered it was not me. The one that you know, the Waruinge you know, it was not me, but my grandfather in me. Because of the ground, where I came from, the foundation produces you. The suffering you are facing now, Kimani, it is not suffering because you deserve to suffer. But go back to your family, you will discover this suffering was also with another angle. So whatever the challenge you have, it's not you. Somebody else must have committed this sin. Somebody else must have been involved in this thing. And that is why it has been shifted, because you are a conveyance bearing that carries you and carries this iniquity from one generation to another generation until the fulfillment of the desires of the initiators of the same altar. It is an altar, and the altars are handed over from one generation to another generation until you break and destroy the altars in your life. Until you bring down those conveyancing, until you bring down, you cut the umbilical cord ambayo imekushikanisha na familia zenu, ambayo imekushikanisha na damu ya familia yenu, ambayo imekushikanisha na the family tree. You are still forever going to suffer. Even if you become a bishop, you will still suffer. Even if you become a prophet, you will face the same challenge in your life. I faced the challenge my grandfather faced. My grandfather was among the people who were jailed in committee alongside my mother. And I've been taken to committee, not because I committed any crime, but people committed crime somewhere else, and I will be arrested and taken to committee. Because that was the foundation of my grandfather. My grandfather was killed by the Muzungu. The Kenyan Muzungu tried to kill me. I have 12 bullets in my body. They have tried to hang me twice, but it has not worked. Not because I committed any crime, because I came from the village an innocent man. An innocent man. Sikuwa najua vitu kama hizo. Sikuwa najua hata, I never knew my mom was a Mau Mau. I never knew that General Waruinge was anywhere connected to me. But all that what they did, the prominence he had, the plans he had, were all found in me. The words that he coined for the oath of Mau Mau are the same word I coined for Mungiki. The same word by word. And I never saw him. I never met this man. But this spirit got into me. And this is what is affecting you. Maybe your father had 12, 13 wives. Your grandfather alikuwa na wanawake 20. Now I'm a pastor. Unanikuta, my grandfather alikuwa na 13 of them. And I normally tell you the story of my life. I have more than 15 children with 15 different wives. So what is that? The same thing that happened with my grandfather me is only that I didn't marry them, but I slept with women that produced children. That's why I have so many children. Bwana sifiwe sana. Hallelujah. So until this spirit of my grandfather was discontinued in me, that is when I became free. What is the challenge? It's not that somebody has bewitched you. Look at your history and see whether you are going. The limitation, the spirit of limitation, the spirit of stagnation, it is from the generation. It is from your family tree. The limitation, if your family is not allowed to go beyond 100,000, you will not go beyond that. Until you break it. Until you discontinue the spirit of limitation in your family. Hawezi kwenda. Kama the limitation, the pale umewekewa yule tajiri kwenu kabisa ni 100,000. Hata ufanye nini? Until you know how to break it. Until you know how to come out of it. Some of us, we are so rich, yet so poor. Some of us, I can come and ask you proudly, where did you park your car? Because you are carrying the face of a car. You are carrying the face of a rich woman, a rich man. But right inside you, you are just a poor person, a beggar. But outside there, the physicality, the looks, everything dictates the terms of a rich man, a rich woman. But because there is a foundation that is operating in your life, you can't go beyond. The face and the physicalities will explain, will show us you are rich, but inside you, the spirit that controls you will not allow you to go beyond. Because you are not allowed. The foundation of your family doesn't allow you. Bwana asifiwe sana. Because there is something that is operating in your family. Something that is working against your family. So you see, because of the limitation, the spiritual limitation, Judah did not fulfill the wishes of the father until 10 generations. Could you be suffering in this world? You die suffering. Another generation dies suffering. Another generation comes to die suffering. Another generation dies and suffering. And yet you know how to do it. Restructure, restrace yourself. If you can be able to restrace, ujitafute, utajitafuta na utajijua, na utaelewa. So in the verse number 11 in the Bible says, Ephraim glory, but they came to Bethel and they consecrated themselves to the things of shame. And because became detestable like the things they loved. So once you consecrate to yourself with the evil, what happens? Verse number 11. Ephraim glory shall fly away like a bird. So because of the desires or because of misbehaviors of our parents, our great-grandparents, the glory that was in us flies away like a bird. That's why people will look at you and they see like you are rich. But the glory of God is no longer working with you. That is why you can open churches, you can do everything. But when the glory of God, when this altar, the ancestral altar manifests, shoots up, the glory just disappeared. Because they go to the book of Chronicles and they look and they see, to what level are you supposed to go? To what kind of standard are you supposed to be? To what kind of a human being are you supposed to be operating? What kind of your standard? What kind of your foundation are you supposed to be operating? That's why people rise and then they come back. I was giving you a very good example, which is not very pleasant to some of my members here, about my good friend Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is an enigma. Somebody who is very powerful in this nation. Somebody who can pull crowds. Somebody who can pull a crowd of 1 million people. But that crowd that he pulls has never translated to power. Why? Because there is a limitation. There is something that was spoken against him. There's something that was spoken against their family. That is why until he addresses this one, he can never become a president. The highest he's gone is that being prime minister. But not until you understand what happens in their family. Go look at your mother. Angalia mama yako amefika kiwango gani. Angalia baba yako amefika kiwango yangu. Angalia uncles and the socials and all those. See where they have gone. What standard of their life is. If you don't see anything around in your family that is shining, then don't expect for you to shine. Until you destroy that kind of an altar that is operating in your family. Until you bring down that kind of things. Because the glory went because of the iniquities they did. The glory is not with them. When the glory goes, there is nothing attractive from God will walk with you. You will reach a point and you'll go down. You will reach a point and you'll be suppressed down by the same force that suppressed your parents. Because they laid. The reason they were taken and they went through the iniquities, it is a lay down that was created to make them destroy next 5 generations. So you can be a pillar. You can be a foundation. The devil can just decide to choose you to be a foundation to destroy next 10 generations. Most people who are killing destiny killers, they are destined to kill destinies. They just come into your life. Come in the form of a wife, the form of a husband, the form of a pastor, the form of a praise and worship, the form of a business partner. Whatever form they come in, it's very important for you. Try to understand these people. Try to know them. Try to understand what is the problem that this man, yes, you are a pastor. Do what fruits? Can you show me some of your fruits? If there is no single fruit about this pastor, then start calculating and understanding what could be the problem behind this man. This man is oil anointed. Ni mtu ako na anointing kubwa sana. He got the power of God. He got everything, but there is no breakthrough. Wherever they try to move, unakuta something stopped. Nafika watu 200 goes down. Nafika watu 20 goes down. Why? There must be a reason. And that is what I'm talking. The family foundation will dictate what you become later. In verse 12, even if, and for you to know the families that are operating under this kind of a negative family foundation, it is that the glory flies away and there is no birth. Bwana Yesu asifiwe sana. No pregnancy and no conception. There is no birth of visions. You try to give birth to a vision, it dies even before it comes. No conceiving. You don't have a vision. You sit around with a person and unamuuliza, what is your vision? They don't have visions. Because there's something that came and curtailed what you're supposed to become. There's something that came and stopped the iniquities of your parents, the iniquities of your family. They bring you down and they stop you from becoming. So there's no pregnancy and there's no conception. There is nothing happens around you. Yani unakuta mtu ametoshereka anausanga the match you can sell is 20,000 per month and you are comfortable. The match you earn is 10,000 and you are comfortable. The match you earn is 5,000 and you are comfortable. And you don't think it is wrong. You don't think that you need to move closer. And the biggest house you've ever rented is a 1-bedroom. And you feel you're in Nairobi. You feel nice. You feel like you are. When I used to live in Mukuru, Kwaruben, I used to sell changa at the bank there. Let me tell you one thing. I was so comfortable that I was happy. I used to earn 1,000, between 1,800 to 9,000. And that was big money. Big money. And you see, it's a day I made a business of 1,300. I had to celebrate. Because that is where I was cornered to. That is where I had been pushed to understand, to believe in myself, that this is my portion. Tell your neighbor, poverty is not my portion. We have to cut all these limitations. Understand your background. Understand your parents. Understand what kind of iniquities Go back, ask your grandmother, ask your auntie, your brothers, ask them. What could have been a problem? When I discovered who I was, I went back to my mother and asked my mother, who are you? She told me she was in Mau Mau. Then I knew Mau Mau killed the people. Then I asked, what was your role in Mau Mau? I was the one holding guns, keeping guns for the Mau Mau. Then I knew the same thing has happened to me. When akina Rasta were living, akina Madhari were living, mimi ndio nilikuwa nawabebea bunduki. Mimi ndio nilikuwa nawekea bunduki. So you see, what was with my mother, it's me. Then apparently again, my mother told me they were the first lot, alongside my grandfather, and them, they were the first lots that were jailed in Kamiti. Kamiti, maximum prison. Room, block D, room number 30. And surprisingly, when I was taken to Kamiti, I was taken to room, block D, room number 38. So you see, the iniquities of my mother, the iniquities of my grandfather, because it is my grandfather who started it, then transferred to our parents. Then our parents transferred to us. See now, though not in a bad way, it's a good way because I'm happy. All my sons are in the US and all of them, they have joined the army. My grandfather was an army. Me, my father was an army, Mau Mau army. My mother was in the army. Myself and Mungiki army. My children are US. They are Marines. You see how it follows? So this trend goes down. Only that now they are good boys. They have gone to the genuine outfit because of what I've done. Disconnected myself. I went to Bishop and disconnected me and whatever that might be following me. And I disconnect myself from me to my children. Now my children are in the Marines. One was flying the chopper today. He is only 17 years. Today morning. Because I disconnect. And before they left for the US, for those who know them, like a boy like Dan, alikuwa ameanza kuvuta banki. The boy was wearing some clothes and he was moving as, yo, Dad, how are you? You doing? And then with earrings and everything. Dad, sioni safe na 5K. And it's your son of 15 years. Na alikuwa amevaa trouser ingine, it was swagging. See, he was moving like a monster. I slapped him in church. He came to the pulpit to ask me for money. I slapped him in the pulpit. And that's what changed. Then I went back home and told my mom, no, this cannot work. Then that's where I started breaking those things that were following my children. I broke them. All of them, I destroyed them. And now God has rescued them, has restored them. At the same time, God is restoring me. You know, I am a big man in this nation. Nobody does not know me. Nobody does not fear me. But I was trying to form a church. I stayed there with a church for how many? 1 year. 20 people. And in the whole country fears me. When you mention my name, people run away. 20 people for 1 full year. Even this guy came and they so looked at the church. Can I remind you the other guy who had said, huyu hakuna mahali anaenda. No, there was no sign of me going anywhere. I don't blame anybody, but there was no sign. Until the time that I said, enough is enough. I went back and studied and understood what is my foundation. Who are the forces and what kind of forces are behind my life? What is my bloodline? What is my family tree? That is when I discovered that I'm destined to die. My grandfather died while in the bush. They were bombed. And the struggle for him just died. My mother is still alive, but the struggle of what they were looking for, she never got. She never got a piece of land. We had to struggle again to get a piece of land. My mother was in the bush to fight for the piece of land. Whatever she was fighting for, she didn't get it in the way she was deserved to get it. Kemadi, you saw it the other day, we were burying the wife. And the wife died. She could not afford to buy medicine of 100 shillings. Just medicine. And she was the field marshal. She was the wife of the field marshal. She was buried a poor woman Because of what that transcended from one level to another level. So whatever that you've done kills every projection of a vision, every projection of pregnancy and conception. In verse number 12, even if they bring up children, I will bereave them till none is left. Even if you come with a vision, even if you start a project, it will still die. Bwana Yesu asifiwe sana. Even if, yes, you may be lucky. You come with a vision. You start because your parents took you to school, or your parents did something about you. But until again, even if you come up with a vision, even if you come up with a church, even if you come out with a wife, even if you come out with anything, God says, I will still make them, bereave them, stop it, because of the iniquity. I will remember the iniquities of the first generation, the second generation, third generation, fourth generation, to the fifth generation. Things that you find them, that they are given a miscarrying womb and a dry breast. Whatever kind of a business you put, it is miscarried. The breast is supposed to produce milk, the milk that gives life to people. So in you, there is no life. You as a father, you have got no life to your children. You as a grandfather, you've got no life to your children. You are carrying a miscarrying what? Imebeba, utumbo ambao umebeba. Matasa tupu. Because you have no foundation that produces life. Even if you produce life, there is no milk. You start a business, yes, you have, because your uncle has given you 200,000. But once you are given the 200, that's the end of it. The business, no boost, no person coming to buy anything at your shop. The shop now, you live in a stagnated layer because there is no breast. Hakuna maziwa ya kunyonya. There is no breast to give the milk, to give life. And you start dying. Once there is no life in you, you die. So these are the characteristics of you to know a family operating in a negative family foundation. There's no movement. There's no successes. Verse 15, every evil of theirs is in Gilgal. There I began to hate them. Because of the wickedness of the deeds, I will drive them out of my house. I will love them no more. And their princes are rebels. There's no love of God. In you find there's no love at all. A family, the entire family is full of hatred. They are fighting one another. Brothers and sisters, nobody talks to each other. Mother and father, nobody talking to each other. Cousins, they cannot come together because there is a plant of hate in the family. There is no love. There's no love at all. Children, there's no love. You have 10 children, no one talking to one another. Because there is this seed of discontent that was planted. Those are the characteristics. If in your family you have such things, miscarriages and hatred in the family, and a disorganization in the family, no good planning in the family, no understanding. In this church, kuna hate, a lot of hate, kuna miscarriages of dreams. In the business, there is a lot of hate, miscarriages of, and all these things. If they are evolving there, then you must understand that you are operating in the altar of negative foundations and altars of the family. And this is what we must be able to understand. That there are characteristics, there are things, there are signs that you see operating in your life. In verse, I want to finish in verse 15. Verse 16. Ephraim is stricken, their root is dried up. They shall bear no fruit. That your root is dried up. There is no fruit that will ever come in you. That is why, even if you do business, even if you get married, even if you open a church, the roots are already dried up. Nothing will come out of you. No fruits. Nothing will happen to you because you have been dried up. You are stagnated, completely confused. Completely. You are not existing. When the roots are cut, so there is no water, there is no life. Ask your neighbor. Ask your, are you sleeping because your roots are dried up? If your neighbor is sleeping, look at the neighbor that is sleeping. So those are the challenges, and these are characteristics of understanding. I will expound them more and more as we go on, because this is part of understanding the kingdom what? Principles. You must, the foundation, the family foundation, the curses, generational curses, the bloodline, the family tree is part of the kingdom foundation, kingdom principles that we need to understand. That this, if I follow this is going to happen to me. It doesn't matter whether I come from a family that is full of religion. It doesn't matter whether my family is good, is prophetic. No, it doesn't matter. What matters, it is the tree that operates in you.
Bethel Clouds TV, empowering lives.